Hi, welcome to the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast. I'm your host, Vince. Before we go into the video, please hit that like and subscribe button down below if you enjoy our videos. Let's get right into it. What's good? What's good? What's good? It is your boy Vince and your other boy Russ. How we doing today, my boy?
Oh man, Knicks in 6. They got me.
They got you. Yes, indeed. Last time we talked about this matchup and the Celtics won game 4. What did you tell me again? Or actually,
So
been my part, game 5. What did you tell me again?
actually in the video I did tell you, all right, I'm down. Knicks in 5 with you. I ended
Are
up
you
going
sure?
with you. In the video, in the messages I told you Celtics in 7 because they won that
Oh
that
yeah,
next
that's what I wanted you to say. You said Celtics in 7.
game.
Thank you very much. Now, what I want to know is this really how you felt, or was this really what your girl felt? Were you influenced by Kenzie a little bit? Did you feel inclined? I just want to know.
um I mean, I wanted them to at least go on for Tatum, man. I wanted to see them go on, but it was more of an emotional thing than it was a objectual, factual basis. You know, the Knicks, man, they were tough.
Oh
They
yeah,
were tough.
they
Bing
were
bong.
definitely they were definitely bing bonging to say the least. Okay, they was bing bonging. They was showing up and showing out in the Big Apple today. A lot of people were concerned after Game Five's lost in Boston. And the funny thing about it is, I predicted that was going to happen. If you guys checked the video earlier when the series first started, I predicted Knicks in 6. However, it didn't go exactly the way that I planned. Now, of course, we can't predict injuries, right? The original thought that process that I had after the Knicks won game 1 was I thought they were going to drop game 2 and then win game 3 back home in New York, because at that time they were not winning games in New York City. Everyone that they had against the Detroit Pistons first round, all those wins for the most part were on the road. So it didn't happen that way. In fact, it happened even better. The Knicks ended up taking 2 games in Boston. Nobody could have ever predicted that. Then they dropped game 3, and then obviously game 4, unfortunately, Jason Tatum got hurt. And it's kind of one of those themes that we've been noticing a lot in this year's playoffs is what if? What could have happened if this player didn't get hurt? We saw that in the Lakers series. We saw that in the Warriors Wolves series. And here we are again seeing it in the Celtics Knicks series. You never know if Jason Tatum doesn't get hurt. Maybe they tie the series 2-2. He was going off. He had 42 points with about 6.5 minutes in that fourth quarter to go. The problem is we'll never know. At the end of the day, the Knicks needed to show up and show out. I had a feeling they weren't going to win that game 5, even though a lot of Knicks fans were saying Knicks in 5. I had a lot more respect for Boston. There's no way Boston is going to lose on their home court, especially after the emotional high that they went through with Jason Tatum going out. So for them to be able to rally the Knicks, I'm talking about here, back in New York, bringing home a series clinching win to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, something this team has not done in 25 years. Okay. It's been since 2000 the New York Knicks have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. The last time that happened, we got to see a young Kobe Bryant really on center stage win his first championship. That's how long ago it was. I myself was 3 years old. So, New York, stand up. Blue and orange skies, baby. Bing bong to your brothers, to your sisters. You know, I heard this thing. Knicks fans, they said, you know what? If the Knicks win, if you got beef with your friends, ain't no beef no more. Your girl cheated on you, you wouldn't want to take her back. You know what? You might take her back. If there was a crime that happened, you know what? I might forgive it. But here's the real scary part that I'm kind of curious about, Russ. What happens if the Knicks go all the way to the finals and win?
Well, if anyone knows this reference, anything is possible.
I think it's Gotham City, bro. I think the Knicks fans are going to literally tear New York apart, bro. I think they are going to purposely take that day off. It's going to be a freaking holiday, New York Knick Day, because they haven't seen a championship in like 50, 60 years now. I promise you, if the Knicks go all the way and win a championship this year, everybody's taking that day off. not even a question's asked. And they are literally storming the streets. They're for sure probably pulling all-nighters. They're for sure partying like it's a freaking rave in New York City. They're going to literally treat New York like it's the Avengers all over again. You know what I'm saying? They are going to destroy New York City if they win a championship this year.
So let's get into the game. What happened in this game? Because I'm gonna tell you what, is Jalen Brown disinterested or what? Because he had 18 points in the first half and then ended with 20. Kind of weird to me. Like, bro, what are you doing? This is a elimination game.
Let's talk about it because you know what's funny? When I was watching this game, I knew that you were going to have questions, but I also knew that you were going to mainly have questions for Mr. Jalen Brown. So let's talk about this, right? Now, of course, in game 5, when the Celtics won convincingly, what was the biggest factor in that game besides Derek White hitting all these threes? It was Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown had 12 assists in that game 5 home in Boston. That is something Jalen Brown is not accustomed to doing. We know Jalen Brown is the shooting guard for a reason. He shoots a lot. You might be lucky if you get maybe, like in this game, 6 assists, but 12 assists, not a common thing for this man. So in this game, as you can look in the box score, Russ, he finished with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. But holy cow, the game right here, I'm going to show you in 2 cycles. You got field goal attempts. He took 20 field goal attempts and got 20 points. Now, we've already talked about this in the past. If you have just as many field goal attempts as you do points, something's wrong. Something's wrong, right? Now, on top of that, he had half of the team's turnovers in this game. 7 out of the 15 turnovers came from Mr. Jalen Brown. And you know what's funny about this? Jalen Brown has been known for not having a left hand.
Oh.
You want to know what happened a lot of times he drove left? Turnover.
Ooh.
So what I will say is there was a lot of question about how important Jason Tatum really is to this team. You know, you got Jalen Brown, Mr. $300 million man. You got Jason Tatum, another $300 million man. Do they really need Jason Tatum? Well, obviously, right? But you also wondered in the back of your head because this Celtics team was actually really good in the regular season without Jason Tatum. I think they were like 19-2 or 9-2 or whatever. But the playoffs is a different animal, right? It's a different animal for a reason. And I knew that the Knicks were going to lose game 5 because not only did the Celtics go into game 5 with all this emotional momentum from JT going down, but I also knew that the Celtics, they probably needed an extra game to readjust their defensive scheme around this Celtics team once they saw how they were going to play. And that really showed in this game in a dominating win. 119-81, that says everything. Okay? But yeah, your guy Jalen Brown, he didn't really help the cause for the Celtics at all.
He ain't even my guy. I've been trying to figure out this guy Jalen Brown for a while now. I mean, he to me he's a good Robin. I would not say he's a Batman. And some would say that's maybe a hot take because I mean he's getting paid like a Batman, right? One would say. But if you put Jalen Brown on another team, and maybe it's just because the Celtics aren't constructed to be Jalen Brown as the Batman, but in this case, I mean, it just maybe the turnovers is because he was going left, or because he just handles the ball a lot more now because there's no Jason Tatum on the team. But the other thing I want to know is why is Kristaps Porzingis only playing 11 minutes? They kept saying something like he was looking off. Like, is he sick? Is he hurt? Is his like what's going on here? Like, what's the inside scoop on Porzingis? Because I know Knicks fans are Pingus, this.
So that's a great question, man. I mean, obviously, I'm not an inside, Celtic reporter or nothing like that, but all series long of what I've been hearing, that's been going on with Porzingis for the most part is he's had some weird virus that he's been trying to overcome. He's been trying to get over. Unfortunately, it got the best of him. If you look at the last few games, he hasn't really played much. In fact, it got to the point where he's not starting. I don't remember the last time Porzingis was not starting for the Celtics. In fact, he was a very vital, important player in their championship run last year alone. And so nobody really truly knows what exactly is going on. I'd love to hear more on this story now that the Celtics are going to be joining the Lakers in Cancun. But at the same time, it is a mystery because he definitely didn't really have much impact in this matchup like we expected, especially in that regular season matchups against Karl-Anthony Towns. He often played a lot better, to be quite frankly. But that just seems to be the theme of the story with Porzingis. It's like he has so much potential. Like you've said before, he's been dubbed the unicorn for a reason when he first came in. However, now I feel like what he was so great at back in the day is gotten caught up. There's a lot of bigs that do a lot of the things that made Porzingis a unicorn, right? A 7-footer who can stretch the floor, shoot threes, and can dominate in the paint. And so definitely not really his best performance in this series, but at the end of the day, man, it just comes down to the gist of it. Like, you didn't get much from a lot of people in this game. We can definitely place blame on Jalen Brown all we want, but there's lots and lots and lots of blame to go around just for this game alone for the Celtics. I mean, just look at the box score, man. Luke Cornett, Mr. 10 points, 9 rebounds, 7 blocks, right? He was looking like freaking the white Bill Russell, right, for game 5. He obviously couldn't duplicate that this game. He took only 3 shots, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and just 1 block. He was a minus 16. Then you got Drew Holiday, right? Drew Holiday, we really wasn't expecting this kind of game. Drew Holiday has been known as a sharp shooting point guard, but who is really good on both ends of the floor, both offensively, defensively. This game, neither. He was no effect at all. He wasn't really doing anything, to say the least. And again, it shows he was 1 for 8, which is terrible efficiency. He had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. He was literally the worst plus minus. Well, beg my pardon, second worst plus minus behind Derek White at minus 34, right? And then Mr. Derek White. Obviously, this was not a game similar to what we saw in game 5. He went 3 for 11, 2 for 8 from 3. He had just 8 points, 1 measly rebound, 2 assists. Again, like, the starters just did not show up. It was too much Knickerbockers, and they just couldn't really handle it. And again, what was the big theme for the Celtics all year since last year when they won a championship? What are they known for? Taking and making a lot of threes. Again, the story of this series really comes down to the 3-point percentage. They were 29% from the 3 this game, 12 for 41. Luckily, this wasn't a game they were just chucking up a whole bunch of shots, but still, half of this team's shots came from 3. And if it wasn't from the 3, they shot a piss poor 36% just from the field alone. You're not going to get the job done shooting that badly. Compared to the Knicks as a team, they shot 46% from the field. Their threes were hitting. They were 35%. They made 16 out of 46 threes. And we normally don't see the Knicks chuck up 46 threes, but a lot of those threes did come well after the game
Dang.
done.
All their starters except for Josh Hart scored in 20-point figures. Dang.
Yes, and that right there is what I was going to talk about. So in a previous video, and I think one of our shorts that posted today, I talked about the keys for the Knicks to win. And one of those bigger keys that I've started to really notice a trend here in this series that's gotten the Knicks to what they got as far as winning this series overall is OG Anunoby. I don't know what it is, but when OG has a great outing on the offensive end, this team seems to play well. Not to mention when you get good contribution from Karl-Anthony Towns from both the scoring end, but also the rebounding end, you get everything you need. And if you can get a better, more efficient Mikal Bridges compared to what we saw in the first 2 games of this series, it's a dub because you always know you can rely on Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's easily going to take you to the finish line, but this wasn't even a game he had to take you to the finish line. They literally took over the game in the second quarter. If you look at the top part here, this right here tells the whole story. The first quarter was actually really good. It was not that bad for the Celtics. But that second quarter, it's a wrap. They outscored the Celtics 38-17. They literally went up, if I'm not mistaken, by 27 or 29 points in the halftime. It's hard to come back down 29 on the road. Like, it's very rare that that ever happens, if not never happens in the history of the league in the postseason. Maybe the regular season, but not the postseason. And then from there, the Knicks really just rode that lead all the way through. They finished the half still beating the last third and fourth quarters against the Celtics. They never let their foot down once they had their foot on their necks in that second quarter. So this was an amazing, amazing game for the starters. But then you also got that little bit of contribution that you could hope for from McBride. McBride didn't play crazy. He didn't make a whole bunch of great shots, but man, you could feel his energy on that court. He made a great defensive play when they just turned the ball over. Derek White was about to rush over to go get a layup. And the cool thing I saw during that moment was there were three Knicks literally going after that play. They didn't just give up a freebie or nothing like that, even though they easily could have. No, instead, they kept that defensive intensity they really started the game with, and McBride got a filthy looking block on Derek White. And that right there just shows you how together this team is, as well as what their potential really can be.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to know from you is obviously you got a chance to watch this game. I mean, I don't imagine you expected this result, Russ, because you did say Celtics in 7. So I want to know, at what moment did you realize the Celtics were not going to win this matchup?
In the second quarter when they were down 20.
You think
I
they
was
were going to
like,
come back? Pull a Nick?
no, it was not one of those games where I was like, you know what? They're coming back. You could just feel it. It was like they were crushed, and they were, like you said, they were riding that momentum off of that high of Jason Tatum going down and trying to fight for their brother. Now, weirdly enough, they won that game in Boston for Game 5, but yet Boston actually doesn't usually. They're not actually the best at home. They're actually better away over the last few years. Generally, they lose the home games. So losing the first two at home, it wasn't like a shock to me, but I wasn't. I was surprised they didn't win one of them for sure. Um, but I mean, like that. I mean, didn't they lose the first two? Yeah, they lost the first two games by a combined 3 points. They lost the first two games by a combined of 3 points. 2 points and then 1 point, I believe. That's how crazy it is because they could have won the series with those two games right there in Boston. Oh man. Oh man. Just thinking about it now, I'm just like, poor Celtics. But Knicks fans are probably going crazy right now. So, I
Yeah.
mean, what I'm thinking is New York is going to be with their hands full because the Pacers, they're coming. And it's not going to be an easy matchup. But what I would say is for this, are we still talking about this matchup, or are we going to the next one? Oh, you're off stage. Can't hear you. You're off stage. Somebody
Oh, I
bring Vince
know.
back on.
I know. No, I know. I want them to see your beautiful face. That's all. No, but seriously, I want let's just talk about this series. The series is over, right? Just like we're gonna talk about some other teams and the series and what we learned, what we saw. Obviously, you had predicted what was it, Knicks and or Celtics in 6? Was that
Yeah, I
your
think it was
original?
Celtics in 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So you predicted Celtics in 6. I predicted Knicks in 6, and so I want you to just tell the audience like why initially did you choose Celtics in 6, and at what point did your faith kind of go downwards or sway a little bit, but then also what made you want to go confidently and tell me Celtics in 7? I just want to know. I want the audience to know that.
Wait. You want why I chose Celtics in 6?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
basically from the beginning of the series, like right,
Yeah,
like
for
tell
sure.
us what you thought all the way to right now at this very moment.
All right, I got you. So, guys, this series, I had the prediction of Celtics in six because my fiance, she's a huge Celtics fan. I honestly have loved Jason Tatum over the years, and just the fact that they kind of kept their core group of Horford, Brown, Tatum. Low key kind of missed Marcus Smart, but I don't think that they needed him obviously anymore. The whole Kristaps Porzingis joining the team last year just had really honestly propelled this team into like championship status. I mean, the Celtics really needed a big, so getting Porzingis was kind of the key, right? Well, so I didn't think that this series he was not going to be playing as much, or whatever the virus or whatever's going on with Porzingis is has led to him not playing or not playing very well. To me, it's like, why is he even out there if he has this virus? I mean, I get it. You know, they're trying to win. It's the playoffs, but I mean, are you doing more hurt than good? But the Celtics in six pick was very confident because they had shown that they could do this just last year. So the fact that this year comes around, they're part of that stat now that you were talking about. How every championship team since 2019 hasn't made it past the second round. My fiance, even after they lost the game, she was like, "Dang, now we're part of that stat." And I was just like, "Oh man." But I had a lot of confidence in the Celtics because the Knicks hadn't proven nothing to me yet, and this is the first time the Knicks had made it to the conference finals since 2000. So at least that's what I read. Um, Honestly, I started losing confidence into the Celtics as soon as Jason Tatum went down. Because with Jason Tatum, I felt like they could really still win this series. I mean, just I want to say 2 years ago, the Celtics lost to the Heat um, with Joe Mazzulla's first year as a head coach after that Ime Udoka firing because he can't keep his stuff in his pants. But um, Joe Mazzulla getting hired on that first year, they went to the playoffs. I think it was the Eastern Conference Finals. They played the Heat, and the Celtics were down. I want to say 0-3 to the Heat, and then they actually brought it to a game seven, if everyone remembers. And in that game, Jason Tatum, I think, hurt his ankle at the beginning of game seven, which led to them losing. But I honestly felt like they could have won that game. Jason Tatum wasn't hurt. So to me, I had a lot of confidence that this team, especially with Jason Tatum, could go and beat the Knicks being down 3-1. Um, but the after he went down, it was it was just a lot of like, oh man, like this is it. Like they're going down. Um, this whole series, Kristaps Porzingis needed to be the guy because that's what won them the championship last year. Brown needed to be Brown, and I'm telling you, man, it's the braids. He
It's
lost
the
the
braid. That's the
braids.
first thing I
I'm
said, man.
telling
I
you,
knew he was gonna
bro.
say that.
I mean, like, I think the hair's grown back a little bit since his cut, so it looks a little fuller and nice. So, Brown, I
Big
see you.
pause.
Looks good, but no,
Big
man.
pause.
The the Celtics, man, they had it. They had this series, you know, going into it, I felt like very confident. But once I saw the Knicks play, um, Brown wasn't playing up to his standard. Porzingis wasn't playing up to his standard. Jason Tatum, honestly, wasn't really playing as like from the eye test. It wasn't as good. Like his energy just wasn't where I wanted it to be. I mean, he did score 42 points in that game. I want to say game four before he got hurt, and I was like, man, you hate to see it. Um, but you got to give credit to the Knicks, man. They really showed out. The Knickerbockers, Bing Bong, all the Knicks fans are going crazy right now. Um, so props to them. I think that they're in a tough matchup against the Pacers next, but the Celtics, they did lose. Knicks in six. I think that next year, I think that Brown is going to be moving because to me in this game right here, it's an elimination game. How do you not score? I think you only scored 2 points in the second half. I just don't get that. So the whole reason for the Celtics losing is the Knicks came prepared. They were ready. Um, they actually had it felt like a game plan. It wasn't just shooting up threes. I mean, you got clutch player of the year and Jalen Brunson who did everything he could to make sure that he scored. I think he actually scored the most. I think 102 points in the fourth quarters of this playoffs, which was more than any player in NBA history. I think it was more than um,
Kobe. Kobe did it
Kobe,
twice.
and there was one more. Yeah.
No,
Um,
Kobe did it twice. It was just those three.
oh, okay. Yeah. So I mean, that was the most points any player had scored to this point in the fourth quarter in NBA history, which just goes to show you like that is crazy. Fourth quarter scoring is a different level. This is not first quarter where you shoot up a three and whatever, it doesn't make it. You know, you think you can come back in the end, but the Knicks, they got something here, and so I'm proud of them. Let's go Knicks. I'm rooting for them in the Eastern Conference now. Um, yeah, that's what I got. But I'll have you close it off because pizza's here.
Yeah, man, no worries. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna just put it to you this way, man. I know the sexy pick that we always heard was the Celtics. The reason why I personally chose the Knicks was because I felt like I saw something. It's very hard to beat a team 8 times in a season. Think about that. Like the dominance that the Celtics had over the Knicks in the regular season, I just knew was not going to be sustainable in the postseason. Because a lot of people love to talk about how, when they talk about predictions on who's going to make it to the finals and things of that nature. And it's so funny how right now there are basically no number one seeds that are going to make the finals, assuming Denver obviously beats the Thunder on Sunday. But I also knew that the Knicks had enough film to really see how they wanted to play. I don't really know Tom Thibodeau like that, but I know he's not an idiot. And I know that he knows how to coach, right? So if you're losing 4 times in a regular season matchup against the Celtics, keep in mind one of those 4 losses was literally the first game of this season when they just acquired Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, 2 key players on their starting lineup who have not had any chemistry, have had no time with the squad. They don't know their roles. They don't know what they need to do to bring value to the team. So they went through this whole regular season going 51-31. Okay, that didn't just happen on accident. A lot of people were treating this matchup as if it was like the Celtics against a bottom feeding team. That's not the case at all. It was 2 versus 3 for a reason. So I felt like this was a underdog situation where the Knicks had the Celtics exactly where they wanted them. Now, granted, nobody was going to ever predict that the Celtics would not only win 2 straight games in Boston to start this series, but have both of those wins, come from 20-point comeback, rallies to win the game. And like you said, in those 2 games, they were only like +3, right? And so you would have to imagine by game 3, the Celtics were going to have to respond. All season, they've been road warriors, like we've talked about. And Jason Tatum really showed up and showed out. Big kudos to him. And again, we can play that what if game because I'm sure Celtics fans are probably thinking, oh, who cares, man? You guys didn't really beat us. You beat us because Jason Tatum. Well, I'm sorry. Jason Tatum did play in those first 2 games that you guys did lose. Okay. On top of that, let's not play that game because look at the Lakers, look at the Warriors. Injuries are a part of the game, whether if it's regular season or postseason. It just wasn't your year. And like the stats showed, since 2019, it is a damn curse. If you win the championship the following season, you don't even make it to the second round. I presented that. And if you guys tuned in to our channel and you watched that video, I don't know if you believe me or not, but look, man, I paid close attention to that, right? And so I don't know if it's a championship curse or what it is, but we have not had a back-to-back champion since the dark days of Kevin Durant joining the Warriors back in the mid to late-ish 2010s. That's the last time that's happened. So I just thought that the Knicks, they had really house money to play with. Most people said it would be a great season just for the Knicks to even make it this far, right? If you can get at least 2 games, right, against the Celtics, it's a great season. No, the Knicks, they don't play that game. They represent New York. I'm not a New Yorker. I've always wanted to go to New York, maybe someday. But I can tell you right now, I have my bet. One of my closest friends lives in New York, New Jersey. Okay. And I know him. And if I know him, I know New Yorkers. They don't play games like that. They are diehards when it comes to their Knicks, just like I'm a diehard for the Lakers. So you're not going to tell the Knicks anything when it comes to what they can possibly accomplish. Of course, you got your talking heads that we're not going to name on this channel, but you know who claim to be a New York Knick because they're from the Knick or New York, and they go on their channels and they talk a lot about how, oh, go New York, go New York. But the whole series, they didn't even believe in the Knicks. Yet here I am, a Lakers fan, and I even believed in the Knicks in 6 because I was right. So again, man, I just thought that this was a matchup made really to cater the Knicks. I thought that even though they lost all those games, they had so much like film that they could really go off of to make the right adjustments. And the series is all about adjustments. And you could clearly see that, not only with the Knicks taking this series, but also moments when the Celtics won those 2 games. They made adjustments, and then the Knicks had to respond with adjustments to those adjustments. And that's what makes a great team. But real quick here, too, one of the things that we want to talk about, like you mentioned, and then we'll go here, we'll probably make another video, is Knicks versus Pacers, right? Nobody really predicted that. Of course, I did, not to toot myself on the back here, but that is a matchup that I'm very excited to see. And you know what? I don't want this to happen, but this is very interesting. And then we'll close this off here for final thoughts just for this matchup here for the Knicks and Celtics. But if the Nuggets manage to beat, or beg my pardon, if the Thunder manage to beat the Nuggets, this will be the first time in the conference finals one of these 4 teams are going to accomplish winning their first ever championship for their franchise. That's huge. So I only say I don't want the Thunder to make it because maybe I'm just still a little bit bitter from that last matchup that the Lakers had against the Thunder in OKC when JT Orr did us dirty and kicked out my boy Luka. And maybe I'm just tired of all the antics that come with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander foul baiting the heck out of everybody. That's not basketball that I want to see personally. Maybe I'm just sick and tired of just a lot of the stuff that we've been having to deal with, especially the officiating when it comes to Thunder. But at the same time, I'm not gonna feel sour if the Thunder win. Unfortunately, the Lakers aren't in it. So as long as you're not a Celtic, and to be honest with you, it's kind of weird. Like I almost didn't want Denver to make it because Denver was talking all that crap. But I think the reason why I'm chilling off the Denver Nuggets is low-key because Michael Malone's not around anymore. Like Michael Malone is really what Laker fans wasn't messing with.
For
What'd you
real.
say?
For real though, Michael Malone. I think honestly, I like the Nuggets a lot better because Michael Malone's not on the team. But
That's not. Come on now.
what are we, what are we closing off on? What are we saying?
I mean, shoot, just for this one right here, we're gonna close off on this, man. Bing bong. Okay? Bing mother effing bong.
All right.
Knicks in 6. Knicks in 6. Knicks in 6.
Vince 1-0.
1-0. Actually, you might as well say I'm 3-0 because I also predicted the Pacers and I also predicted the Nuggets. I might as well go hit the casino out here in Vegas at this point.
All right. I'm calling in this next series. I'm gonna win one. All right. All right, guys.
All right,
hey, thanks for tuning in. I'll let you like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. We appreciate any feedback, any comments. We'll be following up, and we always like to keep up with our subscribers and just know that you guys are just family like us. We all in this together, especially if you're Lakers fans. We come here, we decompress, we talk about things, and all I know is the Celtics are out, so the Lakers have won today.
Exactly. Anytime the Celtics lose, the Lakers just took a dub. Let's go. That's going to be the end of today's episode, you guys. We greatly appreciate your time, just willingness to sit here and watch this today's episode. Like Russ said, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Greatly appreciate the support. We're going to do videos as often as we can, especially for the remainder of the playoffs. And of course, if you enjoy the video, hit a like. And let us know your thoughts as well. Did you also predict Knicks in 6, or did you really predict the Celtics were going to take over like majority of people seem to with this matchup. Let us know in the comments down below. But again, we appreciate you guys. And as always, take care and salute.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Russ and Vince Courtside Podcast, where we bring you the hottest NBA moments, discussions, and everything in between. If you like today's show, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a Courtside Podcast again.